This video we get to solve two-step equations. Woohoo! So a two-step equation, all that means is that will take you 2 steps to get your variable alone, which means you'll have 2 operations to undo before you have your variable alone. So what you want to do is you want to take a look at your equation, this first one, 2x minus 1 equals 9. Find the variable. You want to figure out, what am I solving for? In this case, we're solving for x. Not going to worry about that 9 on the other side of the equation. I'm only going to worry about the side where x is. But if you notice, we have 2 operations on this side. I see multiplication. X is being multiplied by a 2. And I also see subtraction. We are subtracting a 1. So those are 2 operations that we have to undo. We're going to have to do the opposite of those. Now when we do this, we have to just make sure we do it in the right order. So how do you know what the right order is? Well, if you remember simplifying expressions, we would do PEMDAS. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division left to right, addition and subtraction left to right. When we do backwards, which means we're going to start with adding will undo. So the opposite of subtracting 1 is adding 1. So I'm going to add 1 right below it, add 1 to the right. Now negative 1 plus 1 equals 0, so we get to cross those off. We are left on the left side with a 2x. Bring down your equal sign. 9 plus 1 is 10. So we took care of that minus 1. Now we have 2 times x. We have 1 step left. We've done 1 step of our 2-step equations. X is being multiplied by 2. The opposite of multiplication is division, so we will divide both sides by 2. Your 2's reduced to 1, so these cancel out. So x equals 10 divided by 2 is 5. Done! Alright, moving to the right, we have 16 equals 20 minus 10. Well, anytime that I have subtraction in front of a variable, I like to put a 1 right there. So really it's 20 minus a 1m. So what operations do we have going on? Between the 20 and the negative 1m, we are multiplying by a negative 1. And then, between the m and the negative 1 is multiplication. And then this 20 is positive, so we actually are adding a 20 as well to that side. So which one will we undo first, the multiplication or the addition? Well, it doesn't matter. To start with the addition and subtraction first. So a positive 20, to make that cancel, we will subtract 20, because 20 minus 20 is 0. Let's go ahead and subtract 20 on the right side as well. 16 minus 20 is a negative 4. Bring down your equal sign. 20 minus 20 equals 0, so that's gone. Then we do want to notice that we still have a negative 1m left. Alright, so m is being multiplied by negative 1. The opposite of that is to divide by a negative 1 on both sides. Negative 4 divided by negative 1 is a positive 4. Bring down your equal sign, and those negative 1's we get to cancel out. They reduce to 1, leaving us with a 1m or just m. So 4 equals m, or we can rewrite it, m equals 4. Alright, so far so good. Next line we have 8 equals n over negative 7 minus 5. So here's our variable on the right side. Let me kind of separate that a little bit. So what's happening to n? Well, n is being divided by a negative 7. And what else is happening? We are subtracting 5. Not looking at the 8 at all, I'm only looking at the side where the variable is. So which one of those should we undo first? Always start with the addition or subtraction first. The opposite of subtracting 5 is adding 5. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides. 8 plus 5 is 13. Bring down your equal sign. You still have your n over negative 7. And then your negative 5 plus 5 is 0, so that cancels. Alright, so we took care of our subtracting 5. Now the opposite of dividing by a negative 7 is multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by negative 7. And when I'm dealing with fractions, I always put an over 1 over there. Multiply this side by negative 7. Our negative 7's cancel, leaving us with just n on the right. And then positive 13 times negative 7 will be a negative, what is this? -91. So n equals negative 91. Alright, we're on a roll. Last example. Now, if this one looks a little bit different to you, that's good, because it should. It's a little messy. If you notice, you have two terms with this y right here. So before we do any solving, if you can, let's go ahead and combine like terms and clean up our equation a little bit. You have an 8y minus a 9y. 8 minus 9 is negative 1y. Bring down your plus 6 equals negative 4. Alright, so now we have it down a two-step equation. Here's our y over here on the left. The operations we have with the y, we are multiplying by, where's my pen? Multiplying by negative 1. And we also are adding a 6. So we're going to start with the addition or subtraction first. Opposite of adding 6 is subtracting 6. So we'll subtract 6 from both sides. 6 minus 6 is 0, so that cancels out. Negative 1y, bring down your equal sign. Negative 4 minus 6 is a negative 10. Now this negative 1 times y, the opposite of multiplying by negative 1 is dividing by negative 1 on both sides. So y equals negative 10 divided by negative 1 is a positive 10. And we get y equals positive 10.